Good morning, gang. Good morning. Welcome back to this week's altcoin update. First and foremost, remember, nothing discussed today is financial advice. It's just for educational purposes only. And now we've got that out of the way, let's jump into the chart. So today we're going to be looking at a recap on Sol and ETH, which is updates from last week's video. We're also going to take a look at CRV or Curve, because obviously it's all over Twitter at the moment and it's all over YouTube. And then we're also going to have a look at a recent memcoin pump and dump, because there's a lesson to be learned within that, especially for anyone that's fairly new to crypto, new to trading. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. So first and foremost, Sol. Okay, let's bring back the tier from last week. And like we said, when we were recording last week's video, which would have been Tuesday, would have been down here. Okay, for me, on a high time frame perspective, this wasn't a long zone. If you're a low time frame trader, then yep, it could have been a long zone, but I was saying you had to be aware of this resistance, okay? Now, once again, every man and his dog was doing what they did last time, and they were longing here, looking for this target, which everyone's still got that same target, okay? It's $38 target. Now, obviously, if you go back a couple of weeks in our videos where we're saying, first and foremost, you need to consider the point of control, okay? That's what we got the first reaction of. Then we came down, and then what we're saying, once we were down here, now we are back under this orange line, which is the macro range from the highs. And if we are to come back up to it, then we need to look out to see if it acts as resistance. If it acts as resistance on a low time frame, we start changing some structure. There you go. Then you had a short entry, okay? So in the end, you got a nice shot out of that. Rather than paying attention to the masses and the people that haven't got a clue how to trade, that still can't take their eyes off this target up here, pay attention to what's in front of you. What's very, very obvious. Let's come out to the 4 hour, look. Resistance, 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 resistance. Okay? Broke through resistance, deviation, back through, coming back up, still treat it as resistance. It doesn't disappear from the chart. It's a very obvious resistance, and you don't even need to understand in-depth technical analysis for this. Okay? It's not rocket science. Resistance, rejection. Okay? So what happens now? Well, let's get rid of this. From here, now we haven't taken the lows. Okay? It's something that I'm very aware of right now, that we haven't taken these lows. Okay? So what happens if it starts to move up from here? Well, if it starts to move up from here, first and foremost, we've got to be aware of the resistance again. If we start to get through that without another SFP, then we can start looking back up towards the point of control. If we start getting above the point of control, do we get a deviation there for another short trigger, taking out these local highs, or does it push up finally into that magic blue line that everyone's looking at, that $38 level? If it does, great, cool. Do you get the reaction? Do you get a low time frame market structure change for a short trigger? Okay. And obviously, if you are long, that'd be take profit on longs. Okay. So that's to the upside. That's what I'd be aware of. Targets outside of this, by the way, go watch last week's video and you'll understand. Okay. So what happens if we don't rally from here and we start to drop? Well, if we start to drop, let's zoom back out to the daily, then we've got this move up. Now, we do have some structure within this that will likely slow price down. Okay, so if we do start to lose this current lows here, then we can start looking in this zone here. Now, some people will call this order blocks. It makes no difference what you call it. I've covered this many times. All it means is each one of these on the way up is its own little range. Okay, so therefore there's volume within this. So if we do a volume profile from the lows to the highs, we can see we've got some volume spikes. Okay, some high volume nodes that will likely slow price down. Okay. Now, if you're a low time frame trader, you can take full advantage of these. But if they offer no support, then we can start looking back down towards the range lows and ultimately taking out this low. Again, I'm not interested in trading Solana on low time frame. I'm only interested in trading it on a high time frame for swing trades, because Bitcoin and FX effectively takes my attention on low time frame because it's a lot easier to trade. Okay. So that's what I'll be looking at. Now, next, ETH. ETH through the night, obviously start of a new month, start of August today. Finally came down to target, coming down to these lows here, which we were saying. So congratulations if you did take that trade. We posted it God knows how many times on Twitter, and obviously we've talked about it on YouTube many times. all we were looking for, down here we were looking for the green box, up here we were looking for the red box, okay? So you had a long trigger, you had a short trigger, okay? The short trigger has now finally hit take profit, okay? So if you got that, great. Now, this for me is a key zone on ETH, okay? It's a key zone. Assuming this holds, bear in mind we've just done a small SFP. If we zoom into the 15-minute chart, you can see this here. Let's just get rid of this squiggle. Small SFP, okay? So assuming this holds now, what you want to see is you want to see a change of market structure to the upside, okay? That's what you want to see for some sign of strength, okay? And then you need to start clearing these highs. You start clearing these highs and maintaining this uptrend, then we can, if we zoom back to the 4 hour, we can see this a little bit clearer. Then we can start looking up, okay? Triggering all these short stop losses on the way up. And if we do get that, then we've got this big inefficient candle here to fill in, okay? But the trick is we need to get above this blue line here, which is roughly coming in, we'll call it 1890 for easy numbers, okay? Start getting above that, then we can start looking towards the upside, okay? And ultimately, if it does get to the upside, then we can start looking back up towards range highs again, okay? Now, what happens if that doesn't hold? Okay, if this low doesn't hold and it starts to roll over, well, if it starts to roll over, first and foremost, we've got a sticky zone down here, which is roughly coming in at 1730 for easy numbers. Okay, if this comes down here, then we get that change of market structure, then we can look for longs. Okay, if that doesn't happen and it continues to roll over, then we're back down towards this EQ. Okay, sorry, not this EQ, this value area high. And if we do start coming back down there, then we can be looking at a target of these lows. And if we get that change of market structure, then again, we've got a long trigger. If we don't, we let it roll over. Okay, and if you want to know the lower targets, then once again, go check out previous videos because we've covered this plenty of times now. So there's your upside, there's your downside. This key level here for the upside, start breaking that and maintaining structure, then we can start looking at higher prices. Lose this, then unfortunately, this thin move here is going to get run quite fast. Okay, so that's ETH. Okay, before we jump into CRV, quick announcement. Obviously this year we have joined the World Series of Trading Tournament over on Bybit. Obviously if you do want to join our team, then the link's down in the description. The prize pool is up to $8 million US, and there's also Lamborghinis and Rolexes and various other giveaways. Okay, so obviously it's just a bit of fun, but obviously if you want to join our team, everybody's welcome. There's no restrictions. Come in, have fun, and I don't care what trading style you have, okay? All I don't want you to do is I don't want you to gamble, and I don't want you to over leverage yourself and destroy your account balance, okay? We're just trading like normal, okay? And if we win, great. If we don't, no problem. We had some fun, didn't we, as a team, okay? So yeah, link for that is down in the description. Next update, obviously if you don't want to learn how we trade, okay, and you want to get access to my daily updates, I do daily trading plans 6 days a week in the group, and also a lot of educational material, then first and foremost, head over to our website, spitfiretraders.com. Links down in the description. Okay, on here you can access to our free Discord where we have lots and lots of ideas posted, and there's lots of tips and tricks in there. And obviously if you do want to take your trading to the next level, then come check out our educational content, which will cost you the grand old price of $59.95 Great British Pounds, or in US dollars that's $75. Okay, and within this then you've got access to a heck of a lot of content. Okay, we've got so much content in here now, it's unreal. Just check out this. We've got over 28 modules, individual modules ranging from absolute beginners in the introduction, beginners, Fibonacci, volume, order flow, and then the more advanced stuff as we're going. How to build your own strategies, okay? Accumulation and distribution, FX trading, altcoin trading, psychology, Elliott wave. There's so much in here, all broken down into individual bite-sized modules so you can study at your own pace, okay? So obviously if you do want to check that out, links down in the description below. And obviously if you do come into this, then you will also see our World Series of Trading updates as well, because obviously it'll be part of my standard morning trading plans, okay? So that's that out of the way. Right, next, CRV. Okay, let's zoom out. So obviously CRV, I've no idea what's going on because I don't really pay attention to the news. But let's just have a quick look at the chart. Okay, just a standard shitcoin chart. So all I'm going to do is going to mark this absolute low here, assuming that's the absolute low. Draw that along, just double check that on log scale. There we go, absolute low. And then we can start to zoom in. Okay, so let's zoom into the daily time frame so we can see this here. Right. So let's have a look at this. So this, to me, the first thing you need to be aware of with this chart is we're still making lower highs. Okay. So it's something you need to be aware of. Okay, there's no strength in this so far. Yes, we're having decent rallies, and you can look at this and some people will argue with me saying, well, it had a 200% rally. Well, yeah, it did, but it's still in the grand context, it's still going down. Okay, so yeah, there's trades to be had when price is still going down. You can still take long trades and you can still take short trades. But at the moment, we're still in a downtrend. Okay, so what I'd like to do here is get a Fibonacci tool from this low to this high, and I'm going to use our range fib tool that we use in the group. Okay, so for anyone new to the channel, range lows, this white line, range highs, this white line. Okay, outside of that is the outer standard deviations. Okay, so what we've got here, we've got a range low to range high, then we've got respect around the EQ, lost the EQ, came back up, tagged it, range low, deviate, range low, deviate, EQ, and we're back down at range lows. Okay, it's magic, isn't it, how it works? So, from here, now personally I'm not interested in CRV. I only trade a handful of altcoins if they look good. But right now we're having a good reaction off the range low. Okay, but keep it in context. We're still making lower highs on the way down, on lower lows. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to change your market structure to the upside. Then we need to start taking at some key levels. This would be the first key level for me. This would be a significant level for me. Okay. If you start clearing these without having a significant pullback and a change in market structure again, well, a continued market structure to the downside, then we can start looking at some high prices. But each one of these highs is crucial. And the reason why they're crucial is because we've still not managed to change the direction of the trend on the way down here. Okay. If you do start taking out these highs, okay, then we can start looking up at higher prices back towards the EQ. Okay, but only then. So if you are longing down here, but as I say, I'm not personally because I'm not interested in trading it, but if you are longing down here, then you need to be keeping tight risk management, okay? Not YOLOing and hoping for new all-time highs because it's on discount right now, as some people would say, okay? Because there's still the risk that it rolls over, okay? Bear in mind, we're not showing any sign of strength on a higher time frame here. This is a daily chart, okay? So if it does start to roll over, then first and foremost, we've got this region down here, okay, which are these lows that we marked from way back when, from back in November 2020, okay. We've got the first standard deviation of the range fib tool. Let's bring this up here so we can see it a bit clearer, okay. So if we do start to come down here, change your market structure to the upside, then you potentially get a long trigger. If you don't get that sign of strength, and again, it's not something that I'd just be leaving limit orders down here and hoping for the best, because it's not how I trade. Because what happens if it just goes straight through? Well, it just stops you out. Okay? You want to be patient and wait for that sign of strength. It might take days, it might take weeks before you finally get that higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Then you get involved. Okay? So it's just all about patience, setting some alerts and then watching it, checking on the chart. Okay? If you miss a move and it just moons, fine, you miss a move. It's not the end of the world. There's all these other altcoins that you can trade. Okay, so if you see this and you get the trigger, great. If you don't get that trigger and it just starts to roll over, then again we look at the outer deviation, which then you're starting to look at what, 1 cent. Okay, and again, if you get that trigger, then great. If not, let it go to 0. Okay, so simple as that. But you just don't want to be jumping ahead trying to catch a knife when the chart looks like this. It's just going down. Okay? It's just going down. Especially if we start taking out these without a simple SFP. Okay? So be aware of that. Be aware of that. Right, that's CRV. Right, finally, I want to bring your attention to another meme coin, which has just done a nice rug and taken out a lot of people with it. And that would be this chart here. This would be, what's it called? BALD. Okay, BALD. Can we hide this down? There we go, BALD. Okay, this is on Dex Screener. It's not something I use. I've just brought it up for this specific example. And again, this has been a new meme coin that's created on whatever chain. Again, I really don't care. You know, the chart says it all. Okay, so this was getting posted, 2 days ago? Okay, and you were seeing all over Twitter, all over YouTube, some guys that have made however many X on the way up because they got in down here on some gamble. You know, they chucked a handful of dollars into it, $500 or whatever, and all of a sudden it started pumping, and they kept tweeting saying, oh, I'm a millionaire now, oh, I've made this much money, and all that does is incite FOMO. Okay? Because people think that this is never going to end. Bear in mind, this was a significant pump from the lows. Okay? A significant pump. 8,000% just from that level there. Let's see if we can get it a bit more accurate, shall we? Let's do it from right down here. See if this works. Wow. I can't even read what that is because my eyesight's not that good enough. 4.5 million% from the lows. Okay? So people think that it's just never going to end and it's going to carry on going up. Okay? That's what people think. Okay? Because people think back to, oh, well, Sol did this, and oh, Luna did this, and it's just going to carry on going up. And this is what brings in FOMO. Okay? This is what brings in a lot of FOMO. So people think, oh, this guy's just got rich overnight. I'm going to get rich overnight. Great, cool. I'm just gonna ape in. Okay? And then what happens? It has a pullback. Okay? And then this is where all your favourite Moonboy influencers were telling you that, oh, they bought into this. Oh, they bought in down here. Oh, they know about this. Great, cool. All of a sudden, it takes out the highs once again. And then it rugs. Okay? And that's a harsh rug because let's have a see what that is. From top to the bottom, 99%. 99% rug. So anyone that FOMO'd in up in this region just got absolutely destroyed. Okay? Now, this is something that I was posting on Twitter at the time. Okay? Let's just zoom into this so you can see this a bit better. So I was saying, on the 30th, okay, this is when all those tweets were coming out. Okay? Remember, fam, once the whole of CT starts shouting about a shitcoin, it means it's time to get out, not time to get in. Okay? And this is something that, if you're new to this space, then this is probably a surprise to you. But if you've been in this space a while and you still don't pay attention to this, then you're an absolute fool and you really need to get out of the space and just walk away from crypto because you're a gambler. Okay? Once everyone starts chanting about a certain coin, a certain shitcoin, or memcoin or whatever, it's time to get out. Okay? If you remember, Bitcoin back at 65k or 69k, Laser Eyes was on the cards, everyone was talking about 100k, all of a sudden it just got silly. And that was your trigger then, that was your clue that, right, it's time to start cashing out. Same with this. Once everyone starts going on about it, it's time to start getting out, not aping in. Because in the end, 99% down. Okay? Just a straight up rug. You know, this happens all the time. Your trick, your key to success is not giving into this FOMO. It's very easy to then start looking at alternatives of this BALD or what other ones that are out there. Start getting excited about it. But all it's going to do is destroy your bank balance and you're going to have to reload your account again and again and again. And what if you went all in and you've got no more money to play with? Then you end up in the DMs of big Twitter accounts saying, oh, please, can you give me some money? Well, no, because all you're going to do is do this again because you can't control it. You can't control your gambling addiction. Okay? The only way to make it in trading is slow and steady, consistency over time. You're not going to get rich overnight in trading at all, no matter what influencers want you to believe. You're not going to do that. Okay? It takes a long time. It takes years to get up to the money. And if that puts you off, then fair enough, walk away. Stick in your 9 to 5, absolutely fine. You've got more chance of making money that way, okay? Gambling in this market is just going to destroy you. It's just as bad as a casino, okay? Right, that's my rant over. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today and you've learned something, then hit that like button. Let us know down in the comments. Also, let us know down in the comments what altcoins you want covering next week. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit that bell notification because these are important on times. All right, gang, that'll do. As you were. Bye-bye.